Hey guys, TB here. I know it's been a minute, but finally got something that excited me enough to motivate me to make a video. Um, I know some of you have asked, and yes, I will get around to doing a Goliath and Albemarle videos at some point. I've played a few games in Goliath. I haven't had a lot of time to mess with it. Short version is it's got potential. But that's not the point of today's video, and I have a short enough attention span, so focus. Today, we are going to talk about what is coming tomorrow on Thursday, April 1st, and I have been assured this is not an April Fool's joke, at least to the best of my knowledge. Tier 10 Premium U.S. Battleship, the Ohio. And this has been out on PC for a while, and I was very excited, very interested in it when it came out there, and it's one of a handful of boats I have been anxiously awaiting to come to Blitz, and here it is. So, for those of you who don't know, Ohio is basically a concept, kind of an idea of, hey, what if we took the Montana, and instead of loading it out with four triple 16-inch guns, the 406s, what if we gave it four double 18-inch guns, 457 millimeter guns? And that's basically what you got here. Is it's a Montana that instead of having 12 16-inch guns has got 8 18-inch guns. And it's kind of what you would expect from that. So if you've played Montana, this is going to feel pretty comfortable. I'm not going to dig real deep in the stats. I'm going to link below to the wiki. It is a work in progress at this point. Please be patient. But the stats are all there for you to take a look at. Everything's there. And I'll go over my build as usual like I do and give you guys an idea of, kind of my thoughts on it. And then we can take a look at a couple of games. I had a couple of games that were worth posting. So Elite Bonus, we'll just start there. Damage Control Center, Advanced Gun Director. The range on this is actually really, really good. I did go Damage Control Center, though, and take that extra 15% to the fire and flooding resistance, only because I do get a buff already to the range with the historical camo. You can see there, I get 4% there, plus 4% to dispersion and the hit points. And we're already, I think with the way I've got it set up here, I'm at 15.72 kilometers. And once you're out at that range, the game engine has trouble rendering ship movements correctly. As some of you may know who've played some of the Tier 10 battleships with the long ranges, you can't hit anything anyways because the boats are jumping around. So can you buff the range? Yeah, absolutely. You can take another 4% and get some stupidly long ranges on this thing, but why? I just don't think it's worth it. Normally, I don't care about fire and flooding resistance. It is what it is, but in this case, I'll take it. Historical camouflage. Captain build. You could run Halsey on this if you've got him. I have really mixed feelings about Halsey. I really, really want to like him, but my problem with Halsey is that the skills of his that are worth having are only active when you're damn near dead. And I don't like going into a battle assuming that I'm going to be spending that much time that low of health. It happens. It happens a lot. But I don't like going in with that assumption right off the bat. So I didn't run Halsey. I just ran a regular captain. And it's a fairly straightforward captain build for a U.S. battleship. We'll take a look, but the only skill it gets is Rapid Reload 1, so you're really not having to worry about playing to skills. It's more about just building to the boat. So you can see the only ones that I took that affect skills are an extra Rapid Reload, which does come in handy, and then Master Reloader to get the most out of that one Rapid Reload. For equipment, not supplies, equipment. There's going to be people that are going to want dispersion. Argument can always be made. I felt like the dispersion was adequate. It could be better. It definitely could be worse. But I was okay with it where it was. Stock range on your secondaries is 5.99 kilometers, I believe. So I did end up going with this option, and I would do so for my personal account again as well if I manage to get this boat. Just because that extra 5% on the secondary range does make them more useful. And the 7% on the AA, the small and large range, is really, really handy. And we're going to take a look at the AA here in a second because it's actually kind of crazy. And then depending on your preferences, you could do damage control or deck protection to, reduce your chances of fire. I stuck with my standard build. It works for me. I'm relatively happy with it, so... just a quick look through the stats, as this is obviously not stock. Stock stats will be available below in the link to the wiki. But you can take a look here and see where 60,000 hit points, 34.5 fire and flooding resistance with the elite bonus, 19% on the torpedo damage reduction because of the historical camo, just shy of 28 knots, pretty standard, 21-second reload. The only other thing at tier 10 with 457s is the Kremlin, which we won't get into after 4.1. I don't know what Wargaming was thinking, but whatever. Same HE damage, but Ohio actually does more AP damage. I'm assuming that's their compensation for super heavy shells. I don't know. Secondaries on Ohio are standard U.S. Battleship. Is it tier 8 and above? You get 5 doubles per side, 127 millimeters, 6-second reload. I mean, they're pretty standard. The AA though, 436 large caliber. With the equipment, you're at a 3.85. I think it's 3.6 kilometer stock. 392 on the small caliber, with a 3 kilometer stock range on your small caliber, which is crazy long. I know that's extra 7% isn't a lot, but I still think it's going to be the best option, especially with the proliferation of aircraft carriers at tier 10. So, yeah, I think that's it. So, Captain, run through the stats. I think that's everything we need to show you here. So let's jump over into some gameplay. I got a couple games for you guys that I think you'll be interested in seeing. All right. So I got a couple games to show you guys. This one was actually my first game in the boat, and so I was pretty happy with the way it came out. The follow-up game was not quite as successful. The Ohio does struggle a little bit, it seems, in destroyer-heavy games, just with the HE does a decent amount of damage, but the fact that you're only putting 8 shots out there, the relatively short-ish range on the secondaries for a tier 10, it does struggle a little bit if you're going to get rushed by a destroyer, but I don't hold that against it all that much because, the fact of the matter is, it doesn't really... If you're going to get rushed by a destroyer, you're going to get rushed by a destroyer. And so the best way to prevent that from happening is don't let yourself get in that situation. The game after this one, I had 4 DDs on the red team, and it didn't go well. But I don't necessarily hold that against the boat so much. I think that was more me. In this game, I was playing a little bit more conservative because it was my first game in the boat, and I was still kind of getting a feel for it. I've played Montana some, so I wasn't totally unfamiliar with, the speed and acceleration, all of that, but I still didn't want to, especially with that Fletcher over there, I didn't want to rush this corner and just get, absolutely torped, kind of like that Kerfurst did right over there. But, you can see that, the dispersion on it is okay. It's not great, it's not terrible. Remember, I am not running dispersion in slot 1. I don't very often, just personal preference. I think there's better options for that slot, but that's just me. Kind of pulling back a little bit because I know that the Fletcher is going to be reloaded soon. I knew he wasn't too far up around that corner, and I really, really, really didn't want to eat a full broadside of torpedoes from him. So, but now I feel if he had launched, then I would have thrown his aim off enough by pulling back, lost that curve first, and we're actually down a few points. But at this point, I decided it's time to go for it. So curve first is right there, and I know that in secondary range he will chew me up. But if I can get my secondaries into play as well, and I got some backup from my teammates, I knew it was engagement that I would survive. Thanks, AG. Fletcher, I took a shot at him, just to kind of show you guys quarter pens. It's expected with Battleship AP against destroyers. Anytime you don't get a quarter pen, you get something better. You kind of call that a win, but quarter pens are pretty much what I expected when I fired that shot. Also note, just real quick, where we're at. We had that one Citadel. We're sitting at 37K. Not really great. There is still some meat left on the board here. The Republique is a little under half. That Venezia is pretty healthy, and then the Montana. And I decided at this point I was going to push and support my team that was pushing. I wanted to get up here and tank some damage and put some out. So I figured this was a pretty fair exchange, brawling with the Montana. I mean, at that range, if I didn't get all 8 hits, I would have been shocked. I don't know if it was my aim was a little off, I didn't get any Citadels, or if it was just bad RNG. But it was, I think, 6 full rolls and 2 half rolls, so I guess I can't complain too bad about that. I like big boats and I cannot lie. So appreciate you backing me up there on that one. Finishing that kill off for me. So we're up to 64K, no kills. But that's okay, because we're going to slip that one in right under the hail of fire coming in from our support. We dodged Venezia torpedoes a minute ago, but we're going to eat these ones. That's just the way it is. I expected them. I thought I had enough health to survive them. I wanted to get in here and do what I could. I wasn't going to sit back and wait. So finished with 93K and a couple of kills. Not too shabby. Especially for my first game in the boat. I was pretty excited with that. So now we got on a game on Aurora and decided to push towards sea and support boats in the Seattle. He's playing there for us. And got to give props to this Wooster. I was waiting for him to make the turn, and I did. And I don't know if he home buttoned, in which case, the hell, man. But the way he turned back, I don't think he did. I think he slammed on the brakes and pulled hard rudder the other way, which I got to give you props. That was a smooth move, dude. I mean, I'm pissed that you did it, and I missed, but that was a smooth move. I don't think that was a home button, just based on the way he was turning. But this shot does surprise me a little bit. He was reversing. I got a full pen, a half pen, and a bounce. I don't know how I bounced an 18-inch shell off of a Wooster, but okay. Sure, whatever. So, realizing that I originally was heading towards C there, realized that we had C locked down, and if I kept going towards C, it was going to take me further from the battle for a longer period of time, and that was not going to help my team. There was 7 on an Iowa at just short of 12 kilometers. Not too bad. So rather than continuing to push towards C, try to throw these little tips in when we can. You got to be aware of the battle and where the reds are and where your team are and where you're needed. I'm in a battleship. I'm not that fast. If I keep pushing C, where there's no reds to shoot at, all of my shots are going to be at max range, which is, harder to hit. And I'm not going to be able to help tank damage for my team. I'm not going to be able to help take attention from the reds on my team, which, as a community contributor with pressing your name and a new boat, you get plenty of that. So you'd think I'd have more wins, but the focus is real. Took a couple of torps from the Yu Yang. It was able to maneuver, so I didn't catch all of them broadside, but I think he fired widespread too. I'm not really sure why he did that, but Guns are just about reloaded, and we're going to finish that Iowa. Not a ton of damage. I think it's only about 9k. But 7 hits, module, and secured the kill. So we'll definitely take that. And then now I know I've got the attention of the Montana and the other Iowa. So I'm just trying to keep their attention so my team can keep chewing them up. Tanking that damage for the team. Not trying to play smart. You know, obviously I'm low on health. I've got another 12 seconds before I get a heal. So I'm not talking about YOLOing in and playing super aggressive, but I want to be far enough that I have room to maneuver and I can try to maybe duck a couple of shells, or in this case, that spread of torpedoes that would have absolutely ended my game. But I want to be close enough as well that I can be a target because I've got the hit points, I've got the armor, compared to some of my teammates in cruisers and whatnot that can't tank that damage. I want to be able to do that for them. So battleships, you don't necessarily need to be immediately on the front line, but you don't have to sit and spawn either. Please don't do that. So we are getting towards the end of this. We got about another less than a minute, and as you can see, we've got both of their destroyers are real low, so we're going to clean those up here pretty quick. And that Montana is real low back there, and the Iowa's he's about half or so, I think. It's hard to tell, they're kind of all squished together. Props to AG for a buddy from Argonne who had a hell of a game here. He is going to end up getting the MVP, so congrats on that. Thank you for the carry. I'll take it. And yeah, I know it's been a little bit. I do have some more videos coming soon, I hope. I promise. So thank you guys for sticking around and hanging out with me and watching the video. Appreciate your time. Be safe out there, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.